So, you want to get a drone and you're raring to fly into the skies immediately. Not so fast. The first thing you should do before flying a drone is make sure you know all the rules and regulations you need to abide by. There are also quite a few ground or air rules about where you can and cannot fly. Even if you're just flying for fun, you need to take a drone safety test called the Recreational UAS Safety Test, or TRUST. It's a backronym. It's essentially a written test similar to the one for a learner's permit for driving. Once completed, you'll receive a certificate you'll need to keep on your person whenever you are flying, in case law enforcement asks for it. Additionally, you need to register your drone with the FAA and label your drone with a registration number. If you're just flying a drone for fun that weighs under 249 grams, you can skip the FAA registration, but you still need to take that test. And that's all just looking at the regulations for this year. Next year, things will get even more complicated with remote identification, which is essentially a license plate for drones. New consumer market drones rolling out after September 2022 will all come equipped with remote ID systems, and drone pilots are required to start broadcasting their remote ID by September 2023. These new drones will also broadcast information including their location, altitude, and speed, as well as the location of the person flying them. There are also plenty of restrictions as to where you can actually fly a drone. As a general rule, you must always fly your drone within line of sight and below 400 feet. There are also a few obvious no-fly zones like, airports or Yankee Stadium, boo Yankees. The good news is there are plenty of resources to check where you can fly a drone, like Before You Fly and the UAS Facility Maps webpage. If you're thinking that sounds like a lot of regulations and you can just ignore them, ooh man, have I got bad news for you. There are already multiple ways the FAA and law enforcement can track you down or even hack your drone. Outside of the US, foreign countries can have varying restrictions on drones, and you might even have your drone confiscated at the airport. So check your local regulations before you bring one on a trip. Now, if you're still interested in flying drones after hearing all of that, here's where the fun finally begins. Drones can vary from very small and simple to fly around indoors to something more serious for taking videos and photos of nature and cities. You can even build your own first-person view drone to kick off your racing career. We're going to look primarily at drones from the consumer market that come ready to fly. Drones are expensive, and you should expect to spend at least $300 to $500 for something decent and capable. From there, you can easily spend $1,000 or more as you go for a higher-end aircraft and start adding on extra batteries and other accessories. If you're just looking to dabble with drone flying, the smallest and cheapest drone we'd ever consider is the $99 Rise Tello. It's a small drone meant mostly for flying indoors. It can take 5 megapixel photos and do some basic stunts like barrel rolls, but otherwise doesn't have a lot of flair to it. Battery life is limited to 13 minutes, and there's no controller, so you fly it completely through a smartphone app. It also lacks obstacle detection, which means it's all up to the pilot to keep it from crashing into walls or a person or your kitty. Mr. Fluff and Stuff, we'll remember you always. The next drone we'd recommend is the DJI Mini 2. It's a big step up in price at $449, but it's also a big step up in features. For one thing, it's designed to fly outdoors. It does it pretty quickly with a 35 mile per hour max speed and a 31-minute maximum flight time. It also features 4K video shooting, raw image capture, and it comes with a controller. Just be careful how you fly it because it doesn't offer obstacle avoidance. So if you're unsure about your flying abilities, you'll want to splurge for a DJI Mini 3 Pro. The $759 DJI Mini 3 Pro gives you a slightly longer 34-minute flight time, or 47 minutes with its extended batteries. Ooh, look at that. 4K 60 FPS HDR video and a 48 megapixel camera that turns vertically for portraits and of course vertical video. It also comes with a big flying aid in the form of obstacle avoidance sensors on the front, rear, and bottom, so you can better avoid crashes while flying. Unless you're looking to shoot professional videos and photos, that's kind of where we would stop. There are higher end options, obviously, like the $2,049 DJI Mavic 3. It's overkill for most people, but it is definitely one of the most capable drones on the market right now, with a physically huge 4/3 20 megapixel sensor, 46-minute flight time, and 42.5 mile per hour max speed. Most unique feature is gotta be its 7x zoom camera, but it's more useful for scouting a location than shooting any actually usable content. Oh, and in case you're wondering why it's all been DJI drones up to now, they're basically the biggest name in the sky, at least for ready-to-fly consumer solutions. There's the $1,099 Skydio 2, but it's designed to fly on its own using AI tracking and obstacle avoidance systems. Alternatively, Autel Robotics has a fleet of drones that are competitive with DJI's offerings. They offer 30-minute plus flight times and up to 8K video shooting, though they're largely not as fast. And there it is, everything you need to know to get started with flying drones. If you weren't scared off by all the regulations and restrictions, drones are actually a lot of fun. And if you're an avid flyer already and want to share your own drone experiences or suggestions, drop them in the comments below. I'm Seth, I'm all done. I'm gonna go fly around now and take some pictures of birds.